Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Audio seems okay. Let's see. Okay. Audio seems okay. Let's see. Okay. Audio seems okay. Okay, technical issues. It's not capturing the game. Let's see. Okay. Audio seems okay. Okay, technical issues. It's not capturing the game. Let's see. Okay. Audio seems okay. Okay, technical issues. It's not capturing the game. Whoops, I got myself in a bit of a loop there. Had my audio on when it shouldn't have been. All right. So, here we are. Hello, everybody. I'm not really expecting anybody to show up to this one, mostly just because I came up with this idea a little bit at last minute. So, we're just going to be going through this game that I found out about today on the itch.io YouTube channel. It's called Monuments to Guilt, and it seemed interesting. And the reason that I want to play this, and I think I know what it's going to be about, because I have some vague idea from the screenshots about all of the different types of benches that are in this museum exhibit. But because the YouTube video was 11 minutes long, it wasn't super. I'm going to say it wasn't super compelling. I would say to a general audience. I thought, because this is an interesting topic to cover, that it would be a good idea to see if there's anything, any kind of story that I can glean from this experience, and then maybe make some helpful critiques, or maybe a new trailer to get more people interested in reading through this and kind of learning this information as well. So, I mean, failing that, I just want to see, one, if it's what I think it is, and two, maybe read out loud some of the stuff on the walls to maybe educate some people. And because I don't think it's going to take a super long time to get through this exhibit, I do want to then switch over to playing Marvel Snap, because that's the beginning of a new season, and I've dropped down to rank 20 because I don't have enough time to play to rank up super high. But I do want to try to get to rank 60 to get that free variant. But we'll get there when we get there. So, on to the game itself. Here we are. We are in the museum. Museum of Exclusionary Design. So, This museum houses a collection of benches that, among this museum houses a collection of benches that, among many unrelated aspects, exhibit signs of exclusionary design. The goal is to identify and explore the hallmarks of this harmful practice and to build awareness of and encourage discussion. Objects such as these have many use cases and are created to fulfill a variety of needs. Therefore, you may not agree that every bench shown should be featured. However, by gathering this collection together and choosing to observe them as a whole, I hope it's clear why only seeing them as individuals is damaging. All benches on display are digital recreations of their real-life counterparts. While great care has been taken to ensure accuracy of form and texture, there may be small differences due to the constraints of this digital medium. In the few instances that intentional alterations have been made to conform to this space, it has been clearly noted. Whenever possible, location coordinates and names of those associated with and credited for the bench's creation have been provided. So it's just a simple game. I believe it was built in Unreal Engine. Credits made by Lewis. Thanks, Grace, James, Loki, Ollie, and Abby. When the Sun Shines on Wigton. Oh, cool. I will check that out later. For now, let's start walking through this exhibit. Let's start with Monuments to Guilt. Value of the public bench has changed. What was once a place of rest for all is now merely a place to perch for some. This museum displays variations on the public bench to inform the unaware of the practice of exclusionary design. It explores how design, architecture, and art are being used to obfuscate the harmful practice of othering. By examining the design of our public benches, we can see what our society truly values in its public, and for whom increasingly the word public does not apply. While exclusionary design is used in many corners of public spaces and comes in countless forms, this museum chooses to highlight and make example of the public bench. Once seen through the lens of exclusionary design, we can begin to recontextualize how we see our public benches. We can shift our perspective of these objects from places for us to sit to monuments to our guilt for those who we choose to ignore. By accepting this inconvenient burden of guilt, instead of pushing it away or contorting it to anger and fear, we can acknowledge what the guilt is simply telling us: something is wrong, and that we wish to make a change. Yeah, so this is definitely what I thought the game was going to be about, which is good, because I do think it is something that is not discussed often enough. Monument 1. No One, Nowhere. The classic exclusionary design, by divvying up the bench, you limit its use for one person, whilst offering some vague excuse of comfort to the other. These armrest dividers are the most iterated upon element of the public bench, designed and redesigned over and over in search for a perfect balance between visual appeal and limiting use cases. This is our public bench. The majority of monuments on display are found in and around London. It was important to get on-site reference whenever possible. Unfortunately for this project, London is heavily decorated with examples of exclusionary design. This is not exceptionally so, however. These monuments on display have been redesigned hundreds of times over public spaces across the globe. Definitely true. I've definitely seen benches with armrests in them. And I wonder if they're going to go into why this is maybe not the greatest idea, or maybe not the most inclusive thing. Yeah. Push for more greenery has opened up new ways to split the bench into segments. Similar to armrests, the preferred pedestrian almost looks considerate. That's true. Yeah. It's a good way to split up the space. Oh, train stations. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Where's this one? Oh, it's slanted. Oh, that's why. All right. Oh. So, the language of exclusionary design is evolving. We are moving away from the traditional public bench, with its wooden slats and armrests, to smoother, sleeker silhouettes formed of concrete and steel. By appropriating the visual tropes of modern art and design, our expectations of the public bench have shifted. No longer does a bench have to provide its original service. The minimalist use of these materials conjure feelings of success and wealth. They mirror the visual tropes of our utopic fiction. They sell us the sense of progress and safety, of cleanliness and uniformity. They tell us all is well, the future is now, and everything has been resolved. But these benches offer no solution. Instead, they simply relocate the problem. If you haven't seen someone sleeping rough in a while, it's not necessarily because they no longer have to. What was once a public bench is now a public sculpture. What was once a functional object is now corporate art. What once conjured a fleeting feeling of guilt is now passing amusement for the consumer class. A bench is no longer has to be anything, not even a place to rest. And yeah, there we go. That's why all of these things are not great, because you can't lie down on the bench anymore to sleep if you have nowhere else to go. And that's just not great. Oh, here's an interesting one. Factory furniture. Describes this winner of the Keep It and Tidy Award as a more inclusive place to sit. Interesting. Yeah. Clearly slanted, making it nearly impossible to lie down and sleep on. That's a fun touch. What if they modeled this space after an actual exhibit somewhere in the UK? That door looks pretty good. Okay. Because I'm a game designer, I need to see... No, it's just a texture. They didn't model that in. Makes sense. Alright. Berlin, we have individual seats. Again, making it very uncomfortable to lie down. Oh, what's this one? Oh, in Tokyo. Oh, are these very skinny? Yeah. Oh, and they're curved too. Fortunate. Those don't even look comfortable to sit on. More London. Yeah. Yeah, this is less of a bench and more an ethically palatable design of what are effectively human-sized pigeon spikes. Fair enough. Oh, there's a whole space over here that I missed. Yep. Ah. Featured mostly for the irony of a sculpture of a skater on top of a bench with anti-skate measures installed. It's also painfully thin, and sculpture divides the bench up. Yeah. So no grinding on that bench. That's pretty funny. Oh dear. Mark your backside. Please do not touch. Sure. Oh gosh. Yeah. Some of these definitely just don't look comfortable even as benches. Area declined to information. Huh. Yeah, see, that's kind of insidious. Leaving enough space back there so you can't lie down comfortably, more than likely to fall off the back. And even just sitting on that, losing stuff through the back has got to be easy to do. Again, falling more into... That can't even be comfortable for people to sit on. Like, these are benches in name only, really. Oh, well. They're not more of the variations. Interesting. That's not even a bench now. What is this? Alright. Lame. Public bench appears overnight with no evidence of who was contracted to install it, no trace of who manufactured it, provided the raw materials. Nothing about who designed it, nor the landscapers that planned out its placement, or which architecture team they were directed by. It is often unclear who even owns the land, if it's private or government, who funded and who commissioned the redevelopment in the first place. At no point can we pluck out a single name and point our fingers. Calling out those involved in the production of these monuments is not an attempt at blaming or to inspire direct approach or action. Crediting the work is a reminder that actual people had a role to play in the creation of these objects. These monuments exist as a result of a series of choices with a long line of individuals. While most often we cannot speak to the intent and choices made, we can see the impact of them. We can recognize that individuals, unknown to us, are making decisions about how we use our public spaces. These few unknown individuals are defining what public means for all of us. Oh, interesting. Oh. Here's some noise. Oh. Interesting. Oh. I think that's it for this. Yeah. Oh. Now playing When the Sun Shines on Wigton by Bongo Mike and Extremely Fank Jam. Cool. Oh, we actually get to see them in their places. In the wild, as it were. Such a weird one. It is a different place. People smile. What the heck? Alright. Well. When the sun shines on Wigton. That's it for that. I think I do have enough to say. I think there is something, a way to make this more interesting or appealing for people to check out, because I do think it's an interesting thing to experience for yourself. But that's it for now.